This is Epic Universe. Okay, after that hook, you're probably wondering, okay, what is this guy doing at a theme park and not on a cruise ship? And I get what you're saying, but as our bio says, we're professional trip takers and our family loves to travel. We love to do all things cruises, theme park, beach resorts. We love to go around the world and take trips, but more importantly, show you and your family what you could do. So we're privileged to be here for the very first day, the grand opening of Epic Universe. And we thought, what better way to jump into theme parks than show you all things Epic, because this park is awesome.
All right, so we're here in Orlando, Florida for the opening of Epic Universe. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, so we were here for the grand opening, as I talked about earlier, and we are excited to bring to you Carlos. He's our VP of Advisor Success. He joined us here for grand opening weekend. And here he
Let's
is.
go!
Yes.
Super excited to be here.
So welcome to the channel, Carlos. Carlos has been a great friend of our family and of our company for a really long time. He takes great care of our advisors. Brings the vibes, as you can tell. But he got to join us for this opening weekend, met us down here in Florida. So walk us through what it was like to get up at 4:30 a.m. on opening day and get over here. Like, what was the entire experience of grand opening morning like?
Yeah, it was great. And it was energizing. The entire time was energizing. It's one thing, it's like you wake up that early in the morning, you anticipate you're going to be groggy, right? But like, you wake up and immediately start to feel the vibe of like, I'm going into such a great experience. And then we put ourselves in great position, right? We were prepared for it. So about 5 o'clock, we were ready to go in position at the buses. Universal had things rolling. We were in great position as the park opened. But the moment that you got off the bus here at Epic Universe, energy was at a premium. Like, I am a very energized person, right? These people had me through the moon because they were coming out. They had the lights on, the cameras, they were clapping, they were screaming. You had a lot of just welcoming, right? People felt like they wanted you here. It was smooth. The whole process was great. So one last thing is you'd think coming to an opening celebration, it's going to be tense. It wasn't. It was smooth. The Universal team was super prepared for us and it was great.
It's like we woke up at 4:30 a.m. and we pulled the curtains back. We're staying at Terra Luna. We'll talk about hotels later on in this video, but we're staying at Terra Luna, pulled back those curtains and we see the park lit up. And even at 4:30, it's super early, but we're like, okay, let's go, let's do this. And it was an amazing morning. And we're gonna talk a lot about grand opening here in this video. And we'll talk a lot about each of the different portals. So every portal had its own, not just an opening ceremony, but you got to see the characters and a lot of the people and the team members that came out to greet you and welcome you into that land. So where did we go on grand opening morning? What was the portal we went to?
Yeah, we went to Super Mario World, and as a first-time visitor or traveler here to Epic Universe, it was every single thing that you've ever thought of. And I never went to any of the Super Nintendo worlds anywhere on any of the Universal properties. So for me, it was a mind-blowing experience. I'm so hyped that we went there first because I don't know, for me, it was one of the favorites, right? It's everything was all set up. And if you grew up in the 80s, 90s, you played SNES, you played NES, this place makes you feel like you're a kid again.
Yeah. Okay, so Val, it was such an amazing morning as we walked into Super Nintendo World. What was the setting as we walked in?
Okay, so like Carlos said, everybody was super hyped up. The staff was amazing. So as we're walking, they're all cheering. We went first to Mario Kart and they were all lined up in their uniforms and just cheering us in, which just gives you that excited vibe. You're ready to go. You're happy to be there. The staff was amazing. So they really helped this event to be just the excitement that you wanted it to be at.
Yeah, I talked to actually somebody from NBC Universal on the Destinations team as we were walking out of Super Nintendo World. He said, hey, what was your feedback on it? And I said, it's a moment that I'll always cherish for the rest of my life. And even here, this is the day after opening day, you can hear people still super excited about being here. It's grand opening weekend. But, as I'm talking to this team member who actually works for Universal Destinations, what was your experience? It's emotional. It's very cool to be able to be a part of something like this. And I think that brings us the next point. What was your favorite part of opening day, Carlos?
Oh, wow. Look, Super Mario World obviously was a big part of it. But I think for me, honestly, the biggest thing is I've never been to Epic Universe at all. So it was just kind of being here for the first time as a native Floridian. Is this a place that we can kind of come to? I loved it, right? I loved it because there's so much space. What I was blown away with is just how spread out things are, right? Like you're never going to feel crowded. You're never going to feel like you're being herded around like cats, right? You're always going to feel like everything is going to be, I don't know, seamless. Like you have space to move around. You got a space for your family to sit. You want to grab a bite. You want to have a drink and just sit around and look at really some pretty landscaping and views. It's a great spot to do that. I really love that about visiting the park.
Yes. And you didn't come for any of the previews, right? So this was like your truly first experience.
Yeah, bone dry, baby. Went right into it. We went, and it was great, dude. It was great. It was an absolute great experience because I didn't come in here with something that an experience I had to weigh it up against, right? And like that, I know a lot of friends who came and maybe they enjoyed themselves at the pass with their previews, or maybe it was a little bit of a different vibe for them. Fine. But here, this was all meant for every guest that was attending. It felt like they finally put their best foot forward. They opened their gates and like, wow, what an experience.
No, it was awesome. Very cool. Val, what was your favorite part of opening day? We've been planning for this for a long time, like over 6 months that we've been waiting to get here, maybe 7 or 8 months. We bought it like last October. So we've had tons of time to prepare for it. What was your favorite part?
I just think the staff, I feel like they really just made the day really special and they were so excited. And I feel like that's kind of what made it. Also, just the theming everywhere is insane. From like Isle of Berk, the Harry Potter area, Mario. I mean, everything is themed just brilliantly. And this park is just really beautiful park. It's stunning.
So to wrap up this section, I'm in my mid-30s. We're all in our mid-30s here. There has never been a chance like this for any of us in our lifetimes to be able to actually open up a brand new theme park. I mean, I was maybe like 9 years old when the last theme park opened up down the road. And so for us to be able to actually experience something like this with a few thousand other people, because crowds were not super heavy on opening day, was really a beautiful opening day. I couldn't have imagined a better experience. But really, like, I think the thing that, team members were awesome. The ambiance and the vibes were awesome. But really, like, what will always stick with me is like, I got to be part of something that, we may not ever get to do again in our lifetime. Epic was announced a few years ago. They put it together. I started getting excited about it, especially as I'm starting a travel company, started getting really excited to come here, as we start to grow our team and our company, but really to finally actually be able to get here and do this. Like, I mean, there's nothing better. Like, what a cool experience.
We got to ride every single ride, like all 11 rides we got to ride on opening day. What was our expectation leading into it? We thought we were going to be in lines.
Yeah, at least an hour for every ride, which we were.
So we split up and like, hey, where are you at? Like checking in with each other, walkie-talkie style.
Yeah.
Look at us.
I know it was such a great experience because we got to go do all the rides. We got to head back and hang out in the pool for a little bit. Like, I could not have pictured a better opening day. And I'm truly thankful that we're in this position where we can actually come and do stuff like this. Okay, so Carlos, we're going to check in with you in a little bit. I'm assuming we'll see you at some point again in this video. But we're going to head into the park now, and we are going to cover every single portal, what you need to know if you're going to bring your family here, things that you should think about with shopping, with eating, with the rides. Obviously, we have a family of littles.
And what's kid-friendly, what's not.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that you know what to experience here with your family, or if you're coming as a solo traveler, or if you're coming with just a couple of adults. We're going to make sure that you have the best day here at Epic. So let's head on into to the Cronos. So as you're going to see in this video, everything here is all about the portals. So as you go through the main portal, this is the Cronos Tower. And once you step into this theme park, and guys, I'm going to say this a bazillion times in this video, I'm sure, but this is truly the most stunning and most beautiful theme park that I've ever been to. When you walk in here, you're going to be greeted by the goddess, or the celestial named Luna. And on the other side, there's another celestial that we'll talk about in just a little bit when we work our way there. So this park right now has 5 different, what we would think of as lands, or here there are different portals. So this main one here with this garden is so beautiful. It's very calming, very peaceful. It's a great place to start your day. This is Celestial Park. Then we're gonna hit Super Nintendo World because we're gonna go clockwise. Super Nintendo World, as soon as you enter, is on the left. Then there'll be Dark Universe. Then there will be the Ministry of Magic. And then we're gonna wrap up at Isle of Berk. So let's say hey to Luna. And this is super important at nighttime because Luna lights up, and that'll play a pretty big role in what we will show you at the very end of this video. So let's now head over to Super Nintendo World. right, so let's start off with Super Nintendo World. Now, this is awesome for families and kids of all ages, really. What's the number one thing you got to remember before you go in? Lots of stairs.
There are a lot of stairs. You can either go up the escalator in when you go through this portal, or there's a side way that you can walk that kind of goes around it. But we would recommend going up the escalator because you get that full impact of like going through the chute.
Yeah, you definitely want to try and go up it because you're going through. There's lots of sound effects and stuff like that. It's really, really fun. Now, there are 3 different levels. So when you get up to the top, that's where you're going to find a lot of the mini games. So we'll talk a little bit about the power-up bands, all that in just a second. But the top level is where you'll find Mario Kart. You'll find a little tree shop there where you can get some popcorn. And then there's like a middle level, not really anything to see there except for like gives you a really good view of the whole land. And on the bottom level is where you're going to find Yoshi's. You'll find Toadstool. You'll find Yoshi's Stack Island. And then there's also the entrance over to Donkey Kong area.
Okay, so there's 3 main rides here. We've got Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and Yoshi. And so if you're rope dropping, I think we'd highly recommend that you head straight to Mario Kart because that's the one that's going to have like a high wait time throughout the day. So I'd probably recommend going there first.
Yeah, so with Mario Kart, it's great for all ages. And every ride here, the way that Universal does Kids Swap is everybody goes through the line together. And then anybody that doesn't want to ride in the group, or maybe they're not tall enough quite yet, there's a separate sitting room for you. So somebody doesn't have to sit outside and wait. You guys can all go through the queue together. And the queues here are just insanely cool. Super Nintendo World is a great place to start because kids of all ages will love the queues. Mario Kart's a great place to stop. Now, with rope drops, sometimes some rides may not start until the park actually opens at, like, let's say 9 a.m. So 8 a.m. you get in with early entry. If you're rope dropping that, Minecart Madness may be the only one that's open. And so then you're going to head over to the Donkey Kong country. And then that's where Minecart Madness is. And that is a really, really fun ride too. Speaking of those power-up bands, so let's go back to that for a second. You can buy these in the store here. There's a couple other shops around that where you can buy this stuff. Those power-up bands are going to let you take part in some of the mini games that are inside. There's also a lot of cool stuff that you can do inside the queue. So, for example, inside Minecart Madness, if you tap into all the different locations that you're seeing right now, you could actually make the golden banana appear. And so there's a lot of really fun stuff like that you can do with your power-up bands.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun of it is keeping your, occupied, since there are only 3 rides there, is that you can just go all around looking for the little places to tap in or to play a game or whatever. You definitely need at least 1 band per family. I mean, if your kids aren't the kind to share, you might have to get a band for each one, but you could totally survive on just 1 band per family.
Okay, so how long does it take to go through all the power-up bands, like do all that stuff, would you say?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you can really knock it out pretty quickly if that's all you were doing and you were, riding rides in between. But I think it's better just to space it out, like where you are. Ride a ride and tap in wherever you can. And then towards the end, once you've collected all 3 keys, then you can tap in and do the challenge.
Yeah, so those mini keys, you got to find those. They're all on the top level. There's a couple of games you can play. You got to bounce the Koopa up, and then you got to do like the time challenge. And there's a couple other challenges that you got to do up there. There's also a place where you can scan in your band. It'll show you how many points you've got. Also, it'll tell you if you've unlocked all the keys or not.
And your rankings too for the day.
That's actually really cool. So you can see like all-time rankings since the park officially opened here. You have a great chance of being on the top rankings for a long time. So you got all-time, you have daily, weekly, monthly, all that kind of stuff. And then Bowser Jr.'s challenge is really, really fun. There's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do inside to grab all those keys. Just a lot of fun stuff. I mean, if you're in a budget time here, I would say 3 to 4 hours probably. Between like getting the keys, riding the rides, because the Minecart Madness could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour of wait time. The queue is a lot of fun. Mario Kart Bowser's challenge, that's also really, really fun because the queue's great. Lots of stuff to see inside there. But those wait times could be, anywhere from 30 minutes all the way up to an hour and a half. It really just depends on how busy the park is at that time of day. Yoshi's Adventure, that's great for all ages. Everybody can ride that ride, by the way. So it's not just for...
Although I will say, if it's a high wait time, it's not one that I would recommend waiting a really long time in line for. It's a slower ride. I think it's meant for like the younger kids. But if it were a really high wait time, I wouldn't really wait in line for that.
Yeah, 20, 25 minutes would be like the maximum that you would wait. wait, and that's only if you have like really littles that didn't get to do a lot. Our 4-year-old loves that ride. That was one of his favorite things to do, try and find the golden egg. But let's talk about food. So inside Super Nintendo World, there's several different food options. Toadstool Cafes, the table service restaurant where you wait in line, you sit down, and then you mobile order on your phone, and they bring it to your table. There's also Yoshi Snack Island, and then Turbo Boost Treats. So Turbo Boost Treats is on the top level. It's right outside of Mario Kart. That's where you can find popcorn and drinks and stuff like that.
Bubble Barrel.
Yes, and Bubble Barrel's over in Donkey Kong Country. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Coke Freestyle Cups, because if you're going to be here for a full day or a couple of days, you definitely want to get the Freestyle Cup.
And there's plenty of machines all throughout the park so you can go in and refill as the day goes on. I think you're just getting a better bang for your buck doing it that way versus buying individual Cokes that way. But you can also, what we always do, we always bring our own like stainless steel mugs, and we fill that up with water throughout the day. So, I mean, it's totally up to you and your family. If you drink a lot of Coke, then I would recommend just getting one of their cups and refilling throughout the day. It's cheaper that way.
Yeah, and if you want to bring your own mug, you can fill it up at any of the freestyle machines. It doesn't cost anything. And if you're sitting down in a restaurant, too, you can always get a cup of water for free. Character interactions. Now, being Super Nintendo World, you would expect there to be a lot of characters. So you've got Mario and Luigi, you have Princess Peach, you've got Yoshi, you've got Toad, and also, of course, Donkey Kong. Yeah, and there's no guarantee that the characters will always be out and at what time. Even if you talk to the different team members that are here, they may say, hey, we're not sure who's going to show up today. Princess Peach may be very busy and she's not going to be able to be here. So there's definitely no guarantee on which characters, but those are the characters that would usually be here. We have found that Donkey Kong is probably the most sporadic of characters that end up showing up over in Donkey Kong Country. Now,
yeah, between yesterday and today, we've seen Mario, Luigi, and Toad. Yes. I don't think we've seen anybody else.
Yeah, but we have seen Peach before at other times that we've been here. Now, when it comes to the Bubble Barrel, that one is a mega ice cream sundae, and our kiddos loved it. It's a very unique treat. I'll say that. It's not my favorite, and I'm a huge ice cream guy, so it wasn't my favorite sundae.
Kids will like it.
Kids will like it.
It's a neat treat for the kids.
Yep. And then for shopping, so how did you feel the shopping was inside?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you've got everything from home goods all the way up to t-shirts and novelty gifts. I even think I saw this like mom planner for Mario, and it had like meal planning and things like that. They've got all kinds of just novelty things in there. So shopping's great.
Yeah, and you can also find Super Nintendo World stuff at some of the main entrance shops over at the front. They have the 1-Up Factory inside, and then there's the store, I forget the name. It's right outside of Donkey Kong Country in Minecart Madness area. Flyaway, I think is what it's called. But anyway, there's a couple of different spots inside that you can grab stuff. But you can also find things out and about. I think for us, like, this isn't my favorite shopping area. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can get. But Berk and Ministry of Magic, they have some amazing stuff. Dark Universe, if you're into that, we'll talk about that later. But overall, I think this is the best way to start your day because it's one of the ones that's open for early entry. Some of the other stuff is not open quite yet. This is a great way to start your day as a family. You can also kill several hours here of just hanging out as a family, doing fun stuff together. I can't say enough about the games, like the mini stuff that you play.
Yeah, you definitely have to have the Power Up Band if you're going to really enjoy the park. You definitely have to purchase that. So budget for that.
Yeah, so definitely budget for that. Spend time on the mini games, do them all a couple of times. There's no limit to how many times you can do stuff, by the way. You could go get the keys several times. You can go do all the challenges multiple times. This doesn't cost anything extra to do all those challenges as long as you have or at least one Power Up Band. But Super Nintendo World's awesome. Now we're going to head over to Dark Universe. All right, so let's head to the next portal, and that is
Dark Universe.
Darkmoor. Okay, well, that's actually the setting within Dark Universe. So it's called Darkmoor. It's the village that's there. There's a lot of really cool stuff to do inside this portal. Now, it's not for everyone, for sure. If you've got littles, they may not want to spend all their time here, but there's a lot of stuff to do, even if you have bigger kids. Or
I wouldn't say a ton of stuff to do.
Okay, well, there's a couple of rides, and
there's 2 rides.
Yes, 2 rides. Probably the best ride on this side of the park, right?
Definitely. Monsters Unchained.
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing ride. The effects in it's actually the most expensive animatronics that Universal has ever done. in any of their rides.
Yeah.
We found that out one of our trainings for Universal that we did for our company. But there's some great restaurants inside here. There are a few character interactions. So let's head inside and let's talk a little bit about the different stuff that you'll see when you get into Darkmoor.
Okay, so like we covered, there are 2 rides. The first one was Monsters Unchained, and the second one is Curse of the Werewolf. So Monsters Unchained, I've seen a lot online how it being compared to Forbidden Journey. It's compared to Forbidden Journey a lot online, and I would say that's pretty accurate. But it's a much smoother ride. Like sometimes Forbidden Journey can make me a little bit sick. This one was pretty good.
Yeah, really smooth. Even with all of the character interactions that are inside the ride, you've got Dracula, you've got Frankenstein, Victoria, Frankenstein. I mean, you have all these characters that are in there.
Yeah, and the queue is pretty great. I mean, there's always something neat to look at. I will say, I would have thought that monsters would have popped out at you more on the ride. So I would say that it is kid-friendly-ish, depending on their age.
Yeah. There's also a kid swap room, a child swap room, so everybody can wait in the queue. The queue is not overly scary, but there are a couple of things like maybe families with younger kids may not want their kids to see that kind of stuff. But it's not like overly grotesque or like overly anything like that. It is a really fun queue inside. Now, Curse of the Werewolf, well, actually,
I'll let Ben talk about that because I did not ride.
yeah, it's a spinny ride, so she wasn't going to ride that one. It's a fairly short roller coaster, but one thing I do want to call out here in this section is that while you're walking around inside Celestial Park, and that's how you get from portal to portal, it's like going back out the main area, there's not a ton of shade out here in the Celestial Park area, but in the queues, they're very well shaded. Like, I'm actually really impressed with that. That's something that like most theme parks don't do well, is like shading while you're in the queues. Here, tons of shade. It's a great experience waiting in line. Curse of the Werewolf, like there's lots of sunshades and stuff like that. You're not going to get overly hot waiting in line for Curse of the Werewolf. It's a fairly short roller coaster. There's 4 people in a cart, and it does spin around. It takes you out back. But let's talk about the restaurants here, because there are some pretty cool experiences. You have the Burning Blade Taverns, which every 15 minutes, the blade catches on fire as it's turning around that windmill, which is a pretty cool experience. Drinks there are really good. There's the mead that's fantastic. There's a couple other drinks, especially that mocktail that Basil enjoys. There's also Das Steakhouse. That's actually a very good chicken tender. Yes, so they have great chicken tenders. It's like a very easy sit-down place. It's a great place to get out in the sun. Florida, it's hot. It's only end of May. It's already burning up here, but it's a great place to get out of the shade. There's also some other great experiences inside.
But again, I don't feel like there is a ton to do in this area. Like there's maybe 3 places, like you mentioned, and then there's 2 rides. So I don't feel like there's a ton. You're not going to spend a lot of time in here unless you're just a big super fan of the monsters.
Yeah, and queues do move fairly quick here too. So whether you're waiting for Monsters Unchained or if you're doing Curse of the Werewolf, the queue does keep it moving pretty rapidly.
So is it too scary for kids? I would say if your kids are kind of exposed to that and they're like they enjoy that, then I think you'd be fine. I didn't find anything like jumped out at you and you weren't like too terrified at any point. But if your kids are not around monsters or they find the villains in movies to be very scary, then yeah, I wouldn't really bring them over here.
Got it. I think as far as like portals go, like this is probably our least favorite of them, just because like there's not that much to do, and like, family with little kids, like we'd much rather spend time at Super Nintendo World or Isle of Berk.
In fact,
especially
when we came here before opening day, we came here early May. We didn't even bring them over here because we wanted to spend more time at Isle of Berk and Mario and Harry Potter, and this just they don't know any of the monsters. So
now, what's cool about Epic Universe's location right now is they have tons of room already developed, but they have like 30 to 40 acres of undeveloped pads ready to go. And supposedly there's some very cool attractions that will eventually come here.
But for right now, it's just a little bit less than the other places. So
okay, well, I think we're done with Darkmoor, Dark Universe. Let's go over to Ministry of Magic. Okay, so we are finally at one of the coolest spots in all of Epic Universe.
Harry Potter.
Yep, the Ministry of Magic welcomes you to 1920s Paris. So as soon as you head through the portal right there, where do you go?
To 1920s Paris. You just basically walk through and you have these tall buildings with shop fronts and places to eat. It is really beautiful in there.
Yeah, and like basically every nook and cranny in the entire area is covered with posters. The theming and detail here are top notch. So whether you're walking through the Arc de Triomphe or you're just walking around, you truly do feel like you're set back in the 1920s Paris. A lot of the stuff here is based on Fantastic Beasts. There is a killer show. Like, we don't know how else to put it. It's one of the most mind-blowing and breathtaking shows that you'll ever see on any Universal property or basically any theme park property. So you definitely need to carve out time in your day to go watch the show. There's a lot of shows throughout the day, but make sure that you take the time to watch at least one of those shows on your trip here.
So as far as rides and attractions, there's two things in there. Like you mentioned, the show, and then you have the ride, which is Ministry of Magic, the Trial of Dolores Umbridge.
Yeah, so when you're going through, you're going to actually step through and travel by flute powder into the Ministry. Now, what I think was the coolest part for me in this area is, like, you've watched the movies, right? And so if you have kiddos that are Potterheads or you're a Potterhead yourself, you see the stuff that people dream up in their minds and they make it in the movies, but was actually brought to life here.
It literally looks just like the movie as you're going through the queue.
You can actually go through and travel by flute powder. If you don't want to ride the ride, now the ride's not too intense. If you've done Monsters Unchained, if you've done Forbidden Journey, it's kind of similar ride mechanics, but it's not
I would say it's not like them at all. It's wholly unique in that the technology on this is next level. It's really, really insane.
Yeah, but if you are kind of freaked out by the ride, you can go by the single rider line, and you can just travel by flute powder and just see the inside.
And that is totally worth it. Even if you don't want to ride, it's totally worth it to go through the queue and do the flute powder and see the Ministry of Magic. It's just insane. Tons of photo opportunities. Really, really neat stuff.
And if you are done hanging out at the Battle at the Ministry ride, there's great places to eat. There's a kind of like a reminiscent of a sidewalk cafe in Paris. The food there is excellent, and we're going to show you some of that right now. And then also with it being Harry Potter, you would expect there to be some butterbeer. And so there is a butterbeer cart out in the middle. There are some roaming characters here. You can see Newt Scamander. And just like any of the other lands, nothing is set time. It's just people wander around. And which Val, as a mom,
that's kind of a negative for me. Is that we can't plan to see, if you have a favorite character, say in Mario or Harry Potter, whatever, you have a favorite character that you're wanting to get that photo opportunity with, you can't really plan for that, and you're just kind of hoping that you get that opportunity. Going back to, do you want to go back to Monsters Unchained?
Yeah, so in Monsters Unchained, there are some amazing characters over on that side, stuff that you've read about or seen some of the old style movies, but you don't really ever get to see them unless you're just hanging out in Dark Universe all day, which you wouldn't necessarily want to do that.
Right, we didn't spend a ton of time there, so we didn't see any characters. They weren't out and about when we were there, but it's been announced that they are there, so.
Yeah, and same thing in here. You could see Newt Scamander. You could also see a group of, there's 4 traveling students. Sometimes they're walking around. Sometimes there's a magical musical cart. I don't know what else you would call it, but there's folks that are playing instruments in there, and there's a niffler involved, and there's also a old professor that walks around. There's also a enchanted mirror that you can talk to.
And then just like at the other 2 Universal parks here in Florida, there is a wand shop. Now this wand shop is really, really neat and has some really unique wands in it. So you have that, and then you've also got the candy shop here as well.
So one thing that our kids love to do whenever we go to islands is we love to go to Hogsmeade and go to get a bag of candy, so all the kids get to pick out a few things. Yes, and they don't have the standalone bags
it's
here.
It's more of an upscale candy shop, I will say, and it's a little bit smaller. But yeah, they still have it here in the wand shop. So
as far as food goes, again, there's the cafe, there's a butterbeer cart. There's also a Goblet Noir. It's kind of like a goblins themed area. Great barbecue. They also have some sandwiches and stuff like that too. And there's also Bar Moonshine, which is around the back. This place is a great place to explore. There's tons to see and do inside here. You could not necessarily spend an entire day there, but you could probably spend an hour or two.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're true Harry Potter fans, you're really in there to walk around, take photos, mill around, just hang out, because I mean, there really isn't a ton else to do. But like I said, if you're a true fan, you're really wanting to hang out in there and just kind of absorb the environment. So,
and as far as the time for Battle at the Ministry, it could range from 30 minutes all the way up to like 5 hours. It really depends on park capacity, how many people are here. If you're trying to rope drop this, it usually will not open until 9 a.m. So you could try and get ready for that. Be one of the first in the lines there. Or like right now, in the middle of the day, it's 60 minutes, and that time is going to fluctuate throughout the day. But there is a single rider line, and so you can do single rider. You can also just walk through the queue if you want to, but it is worth it. If it's a lower wait time and you have the time in your day, I wouldn't feel bad at all about spending 60 minutes or 120 minutes waiting in it. If it's like 3, 4, 5 hours, like I don't know if I would dedicate that much of my day to it.
Yeah, it really just depends. Again, it depends on like if you're a really big fan and that's why you came. Obviously, you're wanting to get that done, so it is worth a longer wait. It is truly a great ride.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like it. So now that we're done with the Ministry of Magic, we're going to head over to Isle of Berk. Okay, let's head to our most favorite spot in all of the Epic Universe.
Isle of Berk.
Now, Isle of Berk is the largest land of any of the different portals that are here at Epic Universe. There's 3 rides, a show, a playground, places to eat, character meet and greets. There is so much to do inside, but a playground is always a mom's best friend.
Oh, I love it. So anytime I take the kids to the parks, if it's by myself or with Ben, we like to split it up with time for them to just kind of run around and play. That way it just takes the weariness out of waiting in lines and the length of the day. So we'll ride a ride and then let them run around and play in the playground. And this at Isle of Berk has the best playground.
It's truly such a cool land because they have the playground, then they have the show, the Untrainable Dragon show. They do it multiple times a day. Like, it is such a cool show.
Very good. The kids will love that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's great songs, great interactions, a great story as well, great message. And then Toothless will fly it overhead with Hiccup. I mean, it is so cool to be able to see that. And then when you get out of the show, you can actually go meet Stormfly and Toothless.
Now, I will warn you that the line to meet Toothless is usually pretty long and that you'd have to wait a while just because they let you have your time. They let you interact with Toothless and take the videos and the pictures, and they don't really rush you. And so it can be a long line to meet him, but it's worth it.
But like, that's something like we really appreciated. Like, okay, it's like, okay, come on. Like, how much can you say to Toothless? But
they let you pet him and he interacts with you. So it's really sweet.
Yeah, like, it's really cool. Like, once you get up there, you get to feel like you're not rushed. You get to interact with the characters and stuff like that. Now, Stormfly isn't always out there. Stormfly kind of pops in and out in between the Untrainable Dragon shows. So Stormfly, Toothless, and then there's also other characters that are waltzing around. There's like the workshop you can go to. So if you're not doing a show, you're not doing the playground, there's also 3 rides.
Yes.
So Fire Drill, are you a fan?
No.
Hey, why?
Because we literally got so soaked on this ride and it was kind of miserable for me. But I mean, the kids liked it to an extent. I mean, my youngest didn't love getting like shot so much, but it was fun. I mean,
yeah, if you get stuck in the one spot, then
you're just getting
just
like sprayed on. Yeah. So it is fun. It's cute. And especially on a hot day, you're going to dry off quickly. You can see it.
Yeah, and they do have like the air conditioner, dryer things outside the exit. But other than Fire Drill, they also have 2 amazing other attractions here. One is Dragon Racer's Rally. Now that's you kind of like controlling a dragon, and you can even do some barrel rolls and stuff like that.
You don't really control it that much. You're going in like a flight. You go around in a circle like 3 times. I wish it were longer because it really is so much fun. But yeah, and as far as controlling it, like you can try to, but you really can't. I mean, we haven't been able to make it flip, so.
I tried my hardest. I even asked one of the team members to show me how to do it, and he's like, You really got to put your weight into it. I think you have to be like a bodybuilder or something to be able to get your weight over like that.
But it's still fun. Even if you can't flip yourself around, it's still a lot of fun. I just wish it were a little bit longer.
Yeah, it is capacity constrained because there's 2 sides, but you can only fit like less than 15 people on each side at any given moment. So the queue can stack up a little bit. But my favorite attraction in the entire park is Hiccup's Wing Gliders. It is such a cute and fun ride. It reminds me a lot of like the first time that I rode on Hagrid's. I was just laughing and giggling.
Yeah, it just gives you that pure joy. It's so much fun. And they have a Toothless animatronics and Hiccup animatronics. So it's really, really cute.
Yeah, and the queue for it is great too. So the queue does stack up a little bit. I mean,
it moves.
Yeah, it does move. And they have lockers. And that's also something to bring up here. Every single attraction that requires you to store something, and you can't bring it on the ride with you, they have free lockers and they use the space scanning technology.
So you don't have to like remember your number or anything like that. It just does a picture and your locker will pop open.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay for it, which is also awesome. I really appreciate them doing that. Dragon Racers Rally has something you just slide your stuff into, and they move the door back and forth. So if you have to store your stuff, Universal got you covered. We are not meeting a character in the show, attractions. There's also some great spots to eat here. There's Meat Hall. And if you've seen this on Instagram or TikTok, there are these cones. Now, the cones will have mac and cheese. There's a peanut butter one. There's also one with like this kind of barbecue spiced chicken. They're a great novelty item, not something that you could fill yourself up on.
Well, I think as a family, we shared it. And so everybody kind of got bites of it. And I think it was fine that way.
Yeah, and then Meat Hall is awesome too. Like it's actually a really cool themed spot. So you do feel like you're back in Norway or something like that. Meat Hall is awesome just to walk around. You can go in there, you grab a beverage. They also have probably like a really solid dessert. You should definitely try and get that. If nothing else for the gram, grab that. But I think overall, Isle of Berk is just the most stunning themed land that's here.
It really is. And you could spend a good amount of time there because there is a lot to do.
Yep. And then going back to the freestyle cups, there's actually several spots inside that you can refill those bottles. So, when you're walking around, especially on a hot day, there are going to be places that you can refill your water bottle, refill your Coke bottle. I think Isle of Berk, can't say enough good stuff about it. It is truly our family's favorite spot here. Okay, so now that we are done with all the different portals, we're going to take a walk through Celestial Park, and that's this main area that's here around us. So Celestial Park is that garden area where the fountains are, Constellation Carousel, Stardust Racers. There's a lot of really cool stuff to see and do in Celestial Park, especially with the fountains. Epic Universe is probably the most beautiful and peaceful and calming theme park that I've ever been to.
Definitely.
And it's because of Celestial Park. So what we have behind us, you can see the fountain show is going on right now. Every hour on the half hour, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, a water show plays. So it's kind of like if you've ever been to the Bellagio in Las Vegas, very similar to that, but way more peaceful and calming. And one thing I love as I get older is a bench to sit on. And you can definitely do some great people watching here. In every different land here, there's some great places to sit, but especially here in Celestial Park. Now, there's not a ton of shade.
No, but it has beautiful landscaping throughout. Like if you can't really see it right now, but around us, we're in this garden and there's just beautiful flowers and trees all around us.
Yeah, the ops team has done a phenomenal job, like just planting so much stuff that's filling in. It's good when you see bees flying around. That's a great sign here. And, it's so calming with the water fountains going off, with the different music. The music's very calming. It's just such a great place to relax. And at nighttime, the vibe is like 10x what it is during the day.
Definitely, because they have lights all throughout, and it just has a beautiful glow about it. Really, really stunning.
And then with Celestial Park, there's also 2 different attractions that you can take part in. So Stardust Racers
is arguably the best roller coaster. I think it beats out Hagrid's and Velocicoaster for Universal.
I love Hagrid's. I'm a Hagrid's guy because it'll always be my favorite. But Stardust Racer really gives it a run for money, in my opinion. But I can definitely make a case for it being the best roller coaster in the world. Imagine Velocicoaster and Hagrid's times 10, and it's so long. Like the ride itself just goes and goes and goes. It's like over a minute and a half or something like that.
One of the neatest parts, because you are racing the other coaster, there's a yellow line and a green line, and y'all are racing. And one of the neatest parts is towards the end, the roller coasters come so close together and they kind of crisscross, which is really, really neat.
Yeah, and so if you're on the yellow side, it's like the less intense version. It's still pretty intense though. Like you still get some hang time. If you do the green side, so that one does like a barrel roll over the yellow coaster. So it's kind of like, do you want to go upside down and do a barrel roll, or do you want more like hang time? So green versus yellow.
And if we could recommend something, try riding it at night. At nighttime, the coasters on the side are all lit up in lights, and so it's really, really intense.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And then there's also the Constellation Carousel. Now,
it's a carousel, but it's the best carousel.
I've never been on anything like it. I don't know how you could say a carousel is emotional, but it kind of was the first time we rode it. Like it was so sweet and it was delightful with the kiddos.
Yeah, very, very much so. Beautiful music, and it's just very soft flowing. I don't know. Now, if the line's like crazy long and you have to wait forever, you can skip it because it's a carousel. But if you're able to ride it and the line's not too long, I say go for it because it's very sweet.
Yeah, and then like it goes forwards and backwards, and like there's very unique animals. Like there's the phoenix, there's a rabbit, lion. Like it's just it's a very fun carousel. I mean, you gotta do it. Now, as far as food goes, there's a ton of great food options here. Over by Helios, you have the Blue Dragon, and up towards the front, you have Atlantic. Now, the food here is phenomenal. The Blue Dragon, we really enjoyed our time there. Definitely get the tea service. So there's a dragon tea service that you should get. That as a teapot. The tea is phenomenal there. The Korean double fried wings was my favorite thing at Blue Dragon. And of course, no theme park is complete without a ton of great shopping.
Yeah, at the front, you'll find two on either side. As soon as you come in, there's two shops on either side. One has more apparel, one has more like novelty items, but they're both great. And they have merch from all around the park. So if you forget to pick something up from like Mario World while you're in there, you can check those shops on your way out and they might have it there.
Yeah, and on this side, there's so if you're coming off of the left side, there's like a chocolate shop. And then if you're on the right side, there's like a Christmas store. So if you want like the ornaments, which we always grab an ornament anytime we go on a trip, you can definitely find tons of different ornaments that you may actually not be able to find back in the different shops because it's a whole store dedicated to ornaments and Christmas.
Yeah, so throughout Celestial Park, you'll have a Starbucks, you'll have a place to get ice cream, you'll have some bars and some restaurants. So there's no shortage of things to do or places to relax and grab a bite to eat.
Yeah, and the Starbucks also has the unique Epic Universe mug. So if you're a big mug collector, definitely grab that.
That's something that we always get. We always pick up an ornament wherever we go. And we always get a Starbucks mug from the city or country that we're in.
Yeah. And then the final thing that we're going to talk about is the light show at night. So this is going to be within like the last 30 minutes or so of the park hours. It'll say it not necessarily in the app, and they show it in the app, but definitely want to look at the signs all around the park. So those TV screens that are all around the park, it'll show exactly what time the fountain lights will go off at nighttime. And we're going to show you that right now. Every resort on Universal property does have a bus that will take you directly from the resort all the way to the front door of Epic Universe, basically. Now, those resorts that are not directly across from or attached to Epic are going to be between a 10 and 20 minute bus ride. It really depends on traffic and stuff like that, because Epic is not right up next to City Walk or Islands and Studios. It's actually completely separate, farther away around the corner. It's pretty similar to Disney in that perspective, where you do have to plan out your bus rides a little bit, but there are buses that are always complimentary that take you directly from your resort to Epic Universe and back again. There are 3 resorts that are very close to Epic Universe, though. You've got Terra Luna, which is where I'm at right now filming all of this. You also have Stella Nova, and then you have Grand Helios. Grand Helios is attached to Epic Universe. You can actually enter Epic Universe directly from the hotel lobby. You can only do that if you're staying on property though. So that is a great point in Grand Helios's favor, being able to stay on property and then go directly from the resort right into the theme park. Grand Helios is one of the nicest hotels that we've stayed in. We really, really love this hotel. Why do we love it? Well, there's a little thing called the How to Train Your Dragon Kid Suites. These kid suites are amazing. It has 2 Isle of Berk themed beds. Our kids were fighting over who got to sleep in which one. Mom and dad have their own separate bed. There's a great huge bathroom. There's a nice living room, and that living room also has a pull-out couch bed if you need it. Now, this suite gives you an amazing view of the property. Now, if you're saying, you're coming in and then you're going to the park the next day, or you have a multi-day stay, I highly recommend sitting in the park and doing the whole fountain show and all that stuff one day, but then also taking some time to view the fountains from your bedroom. The view that you have from your theme park room is spectacular. They do not pipe the music in right now as of the recording of this video. That may change in the future where you can listen to the soundtrack in your bedroom, but for right now you can't do that. So pull up a YouTube video or pull up Spotify or something like that where that soundtrack can be listened to, and then play that while the fountain shows. You're watching that from your room. When you go to Stella Nova or Terra Luna, the rooms are exactly the same. You have these 2 beds that are right next to each other. You have a theme park view or non-theme park view. The bathroom is pretty standard, and we're giving you that walkthrough right here. Both Stella Nova and Terra Luna, you can actually walk to Epic Universe from there. They do have buses, and those buses, because we're so close, it's less than a 5-minute ride back and forth. You can walk to Epic from Stella Nova. To get to Epic from Terra Luna, you do have to walk over to Stella and then from Stella over. But the buses are so convenient, it literally is not going to save you any time by walking, because those buses, they're showing up really quickly and then they're taking off really quickly. You don't really ever have to wait for a bus if you're staying at either of those properties. Now, if you do want to get from Terra Luna or Stella Nova or even Grand Helios over City Walk, you do have buses there for you to do that as well. If you can swing it, I highly recommend getting a night in the How to Train Your Dragon Kids Suite. Your kids will love it, and the views from your room are insanely. Our team had the best time here, and we love showing you all the great rides, the attractions, experiences, food. And I think at the end of the day, it's not a very stressful park. You don't have to walk 3 million miles throughout your day. It's easy to get here. And I think it's probably the most stunning theme park that we've ever been in.
Yes, it's absolutely beautiful. And you can get from one portal to another in no time at all. I think this would be a great option if you did the 3-day park hopper ticket and you were able to hit each one of Universal's parks here in Orlando.
Well, if our team can help you book that trip, we would love to. But as a way of closing, we have a very special guest that we want to introduce you to right now.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Antonio Montana. I am an accountant from Miami. And man, I gotta say, I'm a brand new man. Ever since I met this guy, Ben Armstrong, okay? He's a travel advisor, and he started to advise me on all the things I should be doing to make myself happier. So he talked me here to Epic Universe, and man, wow, I'm a brand new Papi. At home, I'm stressed. Here, I get to relax. I get to be myself, man. I get to say yes to buying all the souvenirs. I said to say yes to buying all the margaritas. Today, it's all about having fun, my friend.
Yes.
And my friend Daniel here makes it happen.
Yes, we're going to have the best day ever.
The
It's
best
going to
day.
be an epic day.
That's right, man. Thank you so much, brother. Yes, love you, man. That's it, man. You use all your travel with Fun Travel, and I promise you, man, you're going to find your own vacation, Papi, inside.